So hi everybody, this is me in Ashland, Oregon with Shelley. It's Saturday before we begin on the Thursday, 22nd of March. This is my welcoming snippet. And just to say, I've been with Shelley about 24 hours and you know, this is what we're talking about, and it's building up inside of both of us in so many layers. And so Shelley thought it'd be a really good idea that she becomes the voice piece of all of you guys, of all the things that you might be feeling, having a question about, or just contemplating. So here we go over to the process.
Nice.
Yeah. So, how are you feeling, Shelley?
Wow. It's good. I feel good. It's exciting. It's fun to be here, creating videos and beginning to weave a heart space with the rest of you as you watch these videos and come in more and more in the coming days into this process that we'll be sharing. So that's my present moment layer. It feels good.
Yes.
And there's a lot going on a lot of other layers inside myself, from the joy of just from the few minutes of womb pulsing that we did today, of feeling my womb actually kind of, some of the energy begin to move and some awakening happening. So that was really meaningful. And to all kinds of feelings of like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? To wow, this is really deep and beautiful. To there's a lot that we're going to move through.
Absolutely.
And really wanting to presence that as much as I can.
And it's important for us to recognize, you know, this is a 9-month process. This is huge. This isn't a weekend. It's not a 21-day. It's not a 40-day. This is a 9-month process. And I set the intention very much based on the, you know, the 9-month pregnancy, the 3 trimesters, I always say that wrong. And we were talking earlier that, you know, as you know, I'm really into the 2 words, know thyself, coming from the archway leading into the Temple of Delphi. I think that's just one of the greatest things you can take on, know thyself. And so we were talking about the 3 areas that we're going to be working with. So the first 3 months is sacred sexuality, and you could say open thyself. And then the second stage, which is about love and the heart, love thyself. And then finally with soul union, soul consciousness, then comes know thyself. So do you have any questions that you feel or sense that the group might be holding, wanting to bring forth?
I do. One of the questions that comes to mind just right off is the will each of the sections of this process have elements of overlapping? Like, will we continue to do the womb pulsing throughout the year as one of our assignments, or are we going to focus on that now?
Yes.
And then actually is the process going to deepen as we...
Okay, well the absolute truth of the matter is I am navigating the energy freshly. In other words, in the moment. I am really open to allow fresh work to come through at any stage. My vision at the moment is that there's always going to be one physical, strong practice that we do. The womb pulse is obviously the practice for the sacred sexuality section. There is also going to be a physical strong practice for the absolute opening of the heart, and also a physical strong practice to begin to be able to connect very cleanly and obviously with the aspects of the soul. So at this moment in time, I see 3 very distinct and separate practices.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So much creativity might start to burst forth from the pulse that it would be absolutely ridiculous to stop that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm in it just like you guys.
Nice.
I was saying that to Shelley. This is a team experience.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be watching. You know, if you guys start bursting forth with tremendous creative projects, I'm sensing that's going to be coming from the pulsing. It would seem ridiculous to bring that to a closure. Maybe we keep going with that at the baseline, and then the heart practice is over the top of that. I don't know. We're going to just see. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that then came to my mind is, because you were mentioning about if the energy with the womb pulsing in this first phase, in our sacred sexuality phase,
Yes.
Really burst forth a lot of creativity.
Yes.
That reminded me that we were also talking about the possibility for us to be other things to come up.
That's right.
Other aspects
Yes.
that need to be felt
Yes.
or honored or
Yeah.
seen in our healing journey.
That's right.
What do we do if like things start coming up that we personally, since some of us may be going through this process on our own in our lives without a partner or other people around us?
Yeah.
What do we do if things start to come up and we really need some help to move through maybe some of the heavier stuff that arises?
That's why I set up the Facebook forum.
Okay.
This bit is really important because we're all going to be speaking the language. So we all can come and bring forth, you know, the results of what's happening, because we're all going to be on the same page pretty soon. Maybe at the moment we're at different stages, but soon we're going to all be singing from the same hymn sheet.
Whoa.
So we know that we can at least come forth and speak from this place. You also know that you can come forth and email me directly. Ideally, and this is why the womb pulse came through, ideally you're going to start to connect with other people, your pulsing partner. And really and truly, by pulsing together, you will start singing from the same hymn sheet. So I'm hoping, my vision is that you start to make such a sincere and true connection, remembering that womb and hara is where we come from and do that, that you will also have a physical person that you can turn to in those moments of creative crisis. So you know you've got Facebook, you've got email ability, and I'm hoping that your pulsing partners will also turn into fabulous physical support.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome, because I can already feel that's actually a little bit of a challenge for me.
Yeah.
That's actually, and it's a good challenge, but it's a challenge to come out of a sense of personal security and actually make a connection with someone and share with them about the work that I'm doing now, and begin to enter that conversation with others.
Yeah.
And then to establish a safe container like we were talking about.
Yeah.
So I just in transparency like to share that that's actually maybe one of my first challenges is to become more intimate with maybe someone that lives in the same town as me or a close friend and start this process.
That's right.
And then to then take my findings into a certain level of transparency with all of you in the Facebook group, and to actually share transparently on Facebook.
It would be a very wise move for all of you to create 2 relationships. One with the masculine and one with the feminine. So a man and a woman, regardless of sexuality. And just like, okay, we're working with the womb, we're working in the hara. Let me at least create or give birth to 2 really decent relationships. one where you can go into transparency, you can go into vulnerability, you can start to learn new levels of intimacy with the man and with the woman. That would be a really wise exploration to take on. And it can go real slow. You know, I'm not saying, you know, within 7 days you need to have, you know, a king and a queen relationship going on. No, just hold it. You know, it's my intention to give birth to a really decent, loyal and honest female friend and a really loyal, decent and honest male friend. That's what I do anyway.
Yeah, powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. That also reminds me that kind of to go into that space of really seeking, if we don't already have those relationships in our life. That's right. Seeking that out.
Yes.
It takes it out of that realm that I've found myself in recently, like kind of leading up to this process.
Yes.
Of like, oh, I'm not with my partner right yet. I'm not with a twin flame.
Yeah.
You know, the all the da 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 in the mind around wanting to control coming into a union with another, or wanting some kind of a particular picture.
Yes.
And I really like that the invitation to befriend others in the sacred work.
Yes.
Really allows that to just, it almost just dissipates it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh yeah, this work is not about, it's not about getting hooked up for me in a particular way. It's really about stepping into the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, just a reminder, you know, this carriers of the flame thing, this is nothing to do with enlightenment, but everything to do with embodiment. And I know that you know this, and I know that you want this. You know, you want to take the whole life experience into your sensory apparatus. You want to feel this. You want to know about living. You want to know about the spectral shade of human potentiality. Here we go. You know, it's not just sitting at home meditating, you know, when am I going to meet my soul flame, my twin flame, my whatever flame. You guys, you are flames. Do you know what I mean? And so let's just begin with the 33 of us. Let's just begin right here, right now. Yeah, because and that was another thing I was sharing with Shelley. So if I'm like at the helm of this, I see us as a flock of birds. You know, when you see a load of birds migrating, they're flying in a V. And I've studied this V. So you've got a couple of birds at the front leading the V. They don't stay there. They change positions, and then someone else starts leading, and then they get a bit tired, so they go to the back, and then someone else starts leading. Guys, this is what's going to be happening with us. So at the moment, you could say I'm at the helm, but I'm not going to stay there, and this is what's so precious to me. You all have a unique expression. You all have an innate talent within this realm that we're calling sacred union, alchemy of love, womb wisdom, whatever, that's not important. And these talents are going to start to rise to the surface. And it is my intention, I will always be overseeing everything, but I want everyone to start bringing their talents through. And that's why it's really important when the 9 months is over, that's it, you go. You flee the nest and you start giving birth to your expression with this particular realm of work. And that was it. So, so at the moment, if I'm leading, or rather guiding this process, my flavour is going to start to come out, and my flavour really is, I'm a very anchored person, a very grounded person, and I'm curious about the whole spectral nature of human potentiality, relationship, and expression. So if that's what's leading the helm, you guys will no doubt begin to experience that, because that is what is at the flagship. So it's like, it's a 360-degree curiosity. What is life? What does it mean? And how does it show up inside of me? So I would imagine that all sorts of experiences will start to come through in the realm of the other, i.e. relationship. Mm-hmm. So I'm just flagging up, if weird things start happening,
Right.
that's because this one is at the helm for now. See what happens when Shelley's at the helm. We'll start doing collages and we'll all become artists.
Yeah, you were sharing with me earlier that you were seeing some of how that could naturally start to emerge in each of us.
Yeah.
Like there are different strengths and qualities of leadership and interests.
Yeah.
And how when that's ignited, it really begins to be its own energy in the world.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I imagine part of our responsibility in some sense to each other is to also pay attention to how that's emerging in each other.
That's right.
And to actually nourish with our attention the way others lead.
That's right.
Yeah.
I see it as two areas. So we're looking to become what I call fearlessly unafraid. That's what Morpheus used in the Matrix when he addressed Zion. So we're looking to become fearlessly unafraid. We're looking to really live this life without fear. And the flip side of that, and this is really important, is that we stay humble. Because it's all very well being fearless, but we can do it in an arrogant way. And that's totally not cool. So fearlessly unafraid and humble, fragile, open, and honest. What a paradox. But that's it. That's it. That's the cleanest and the most innocent that we can be as human beings. And that's my vision. I'm holding that vision that we can just get rid of all this fear and yet remain very soft and very gentle. And then you guys will be frigging amazing facilitators, teachers, way showers, whatever you want to call it. I call it fire lighters, because you're flames, right? You're going to set fire to everything in a good way.
Sparklers.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is learn the ABC, learn the practices that I'm going to be sharing with you so that you can go off and teach them and show them yourselves. And then, so that's one layer. Second layer, when we're sharing in Facebook, we're looking to gently, possibly, reflect to the other flames if we sense something going on. Which, that's going to be a bit of a minefield to begin with. You can trust me on that one. But if we stay humble, we can receive the reflection rather than what's your problem? Why did you just point that out in me? So we have to really learn this new, and you say things like languaging, presencing. So we got to totally help each other out. This is a team effort. We want to learn to live without fear and remain humble and sweet-natured and open. And we got 33 facets of the diamond to look through. And this is what I was saying to Shelley. There's actually only one being here, and it's neither male or female, white or black, or young or old. There is one consciousness looking to ground itself into all of us. And we just got to help each other out, and because we all have a blind spot.
Yeah.
That includes me, by the way.
Was that an invitation?
Kinda. A little one.
Good.
Yeah.
I was going to say that conceptually I love the concept of the oneness and the one being, and even that within the 33 of us there's kind of a soul group energy that wants to ground, and that we will meet that group, we will become that group and meet that energy.
Yes.
And at the same time there's an aspect of myself that's kind of scary for me, like to 33 mostly people that I don't know yet, that I'm one with them. I'm just gonna admit that right now. Because I think it's totally. I think we're stepping into a really beautiful and intimate journey. Just to show up on Facebook and tune in and be transparent and start to share honestly. Let alone when we're together in person.
That's right.
With the other people that we call into our life to do this work with and support us. It's a for me it's a doorway.
And remember, with the application, I raised some really full-on questions because I was looking for a certain response. I was looking for what I call the hunger, the longing, the thirst, the desire, and I want you all to know you all replied at that same level. So, and I know a load of you really enjoyed the process. You loved the questions because you allowed the cat to come out of the bag. So this is what we all have in common. We love our lives, but there's something inside of us that hungers for something more. Is it something we've lived before? I don't know, but all I know is that we want it. And all 33 of you all replied at the same level. And I was like, oh, this is very good. This is very good. So, and I want to flag up that when it gets a bit challenging, remember your answers. Remember the way that you wrote your answers. That energy, that hunger, that longing. Because that's what you're going to need to draw on at some points. When it gets a bit sketchy, you've got to remember the reason, what you replied with, and you all have that. You all have that hunger. Oh yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
That reminds me too. To look for the things that unify.
Yes.
And to come to again, I guess that term nourishment, to nourish those qualities and those qualities within ourselves.
That's right.
I guess I'm kind of a nurturer. I want to nurture it all.
And we all have our right place. We all have our innate talent. It's all going to come through over this 9-month period. There's going to be contrary energy as well, just flagging that up. Of course there is. There's going to be chaos, there's going to be conflict. We're human beings, for God's sake. So, again, we step into the greater part of ourselves. So when that arises, we're coming from a greater perspective, and it's going to arise. So we're just going to be ready for that. It won't be a proper initiation unless it arises. It's got to come because it's part of life. Another thing we reminded ourselves to say is if you haven't already found the Carriers of the Flame group forum on Facebook, it's there. And that's where we're all going to be hanging out. Any other things we have to say?
I know. So today is Saturday, March 17th.
Yes.
And what is it, like 4 days until we go into
22nd.
The new moon starting first transmission.
Yes.
Is that really the entry point? Is that when we officially begin?
That's when we officially and technically begin, but I'm sure you've already noticed that it's begun.
Right.
So this is for the mind, basically. This is for the area, the part of us that makes an intention. So all the time I'm aware of the multi-dimensional aspect of this. And as I said earlier, this is a hologram. We're stepping into a hologram, and because of my little scientific brain, I'm looking to touch every part of you. So the process has begun. But the part of us that likes to begin an initiation and to set their intention, I have nourished that part by saying, yes, we shall begin on the 22nd on the new moon, and it begins with that transmission.
Okay.
But when I told you that, that's actually when it began. When you received that email, it begins on the 22nd of March, your system would have gone brrr, and started bringing to the fire, to the flames, stuff that needed to be worked through. So that by the time you get to the 22nd, some things have been cleared.
Which, it brings me to the next question, which is there anything that specifically you want to bring to our attention that we might want to do right now in this time period before we kind of kick into full gear, like for ourselves personally? Or
the best thing we can do right now is, because for the first 3 months, sacred sexuality, but as you know, I don't know quite what that involves, but I do know the first month is about the 5 spirals of the womb, which is absolutely to do with all of our relationships. We have to remember that if we have 10 key relationships and 9 of them are transparent and elevating and inspiring, but 1 of them is toxic, that 1 relationship will spill into the 9 good ones. So I did mention this in one of the PDFs. What you could do at this time is just have a quick look at all your relationships. Is there one that is obviously toxic, abusive, harming you in some way, or locking you in a certain position? And if so, I would say address that now, so that by the time you sit in your womb and horror space on the 22nd, it may not be healed, may not be transformed, but you have touched it with the intention of, no, I don't do toxic relationships. I'm going to transform this in some way. I'm either going to get rid of it, or I'm going to just name it for what it is and start the catalyzing process of change. So yeah, just have a quick look through your life. It's usually family members. Just check, have a quick look. Family members or intimate partners. Is there any area that's obviously toxic? And just begin to address that. Either energetically, internally, or externally. I go for both.
Yeah, I've been kind of in that process for a couple of months now, on different levels. And I can't say that I've actually, I reach points of clarity in resolution, fully, where I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm really clear about what's going on in all of my relationships. And then I reach other points where I'm more just in observation mode. It's kind of like, if I check in with each of my relationships, it's kind of like, okay, that's where that's at. That's, so there's sort of sometimes just a witnessing, and in which case I kind of have to just stay in a space of allowance, allowing to be what is, and then watch it transform as my awareness is on it. So, and I think I wanted to share that so that there wasn't a sense that immediately in the next 4 days or something we're going to clear up everything that we see in these dynamics. But I see that the at least bringing our attention is just really key.
The light of the consciousness is enough to get things moving.
Whew.
Yeah.
So that's pretty a lot.
Totally. Yeah. So everybody, see you on the 22nd of March with the first prayer, the awakening surrender prayer, and remembering that I won't be available Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm at the Brighton Bush Hot Springs doing a little 3-day, 3-night ceremony to really open myself to this process. But see you on the other side.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anaiya.
You're welcome,
Yeah.
Shells.